Alright, so today we are making another iconic Hong Kong Cha Chaan Teng, which is a Hong Kong cafe. It's the big pork chop fried rice. So it's tomatoey, cheesy, and the fried rice base with the pork chop. Just heavenly goodness. So let's get at it. And if you haven't liked and subscribed already, please like and subscribe before we continue. Alright guys, sorry, I do apologize. I just realized I missed to add 2 ingredients to the recipe. So when I was cooking it, so I missed to add the tomatoes into the sauce for extra flavoring, and I missed to add the ketchup into the seasoning wise. But don't worry, I will in the video I will exactly where to add it. I will let you guys know. So thank you very much. So the first part to this is just preparing the pork chop. So here I got some bought some fake pork chops. What is that? 1.5 inch, I think, almost 2 inch. So I bought bone-in version. You can do boneless. So to make it tenderize, this 4 hammer is what we're going to use. Since this is a thick slice of meat, I would prefer to do it this way to tenderize it, than using like baking soda. More natural way, as you can, it's a thick slice of meat, you can pound it down. So just like get your hammer in there or back of a knife, you can do as well. If you have a Chinese cooking knife, you can also use back of the knife if you don't have a 4 hammer. So like so, just hammer and make sure you don't hit the bones. So after you hammer it, it should bring the thickness down as well, which will make it easier for you to cook it. Still a little thick, so gonna do the original side a little bit more. That's about done. Give it a good smack. Alright, so you see it brought down the thickness here. Alright, so that's one. I have 6 pork chop here. So we're gonna do the rest and I'm gonna come back with the marinade. Alright, so I have all the pork done. So we're gonna do the marinade. So I'm gonna use a bag to make it easier. So it's a simple marinade. So we have the soy sauce, so about a little bit over a tablespoon soy sauce, and then we have oyster sauce, also a little bit over a tablespoon. So it also depends on how much you're doing, you can adjust accordingly. And then white pepper, half a tea, and then black pepper, a quarter of a teaspoon or less. Alright, so gonna mix it up a little bit in the bag itself first. Do it, marinate it at least 2 hours. I'm gonna do it overnight. So ideally, do it overnight is the best. But if you are in a hurry, 2 hours, 2 to 6 hours is okay. So get all the seasoning, marinate each one. You can do it outside the bag as well, or you can have it airtight and then mix it up. So good thing about marinating with the bag is that after you have it cold up, you can continue mixing it up. Alright, so I'm gonna leave that in the refrigerator for overnight for tomorrow use. And I also prepared some rice for overnight as well to make the fried rice base for the pork chop rice. Alright, so see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it's the next day already. The pork chop has been marinated for a day. Now just doing some prep work on the vegetables wise. On the vegetables we have tomato, onions. Also we have garlic and mushrooms. And you can do like pineapple. I just got pineapple, canned pineapple. You can do, of course, you can do fresh pineapple as well. But I just got lazy and got the canned pineapple. Or you can do without pineapple, but I have kids and they like pineapple and it give it an extra tang. So I add that to it. So what you need to do is just mince the garlic. And then also chop up the tomato into dice up the tomato into thin dices. I'm going to make like a pasta sauce kind of thing for the tomato. So there's two parts to the tomato situation. One is make the pasta sauce, as that is one of the base for the sauce. The other one, I'm using cherry tomatoes for the actual sauce and the topping situation, because I do like it that it is after it's cooked and it's kind of a little bit soft, and with the cherry tomato situation going on. Of course, you can use like beefy tomato or whatever tomato as well for the topping as well, but I just choose to use cherry tomato. That's my preference wise. So that is garlic all taken care of. So this dish is a mix of influence of Western influence with the tomato sauce and the cheese and the baking of the dish. So it's one of the Cha Chaan Teng favorite as well for the baked pork chop wise. So you get a creamy tomato sauce, and then you got the cheese, and then you get the meaty pork chop, and then you got the fried rice base. All that goodness into one. It is really, I would highly recommend you guys try this recipe. So again, I have cherry tomato for the topping and the sauce. This is only for the tomato paste. I mean, not the potato paste, the pasta sauce. Of course, you can buy pasta sauce outside. When I do the sauce, you know what I'm talking about. This is one part of the sauce. So make sure you dice it good. So this part, I just want to dice up the tomato wise for easy cooking for the pasta sauce. So just a rough chop is good. No need to be all equal size or whatnot. So that is good. Just going to get that scrape off. Alright, so the next one we're gonna do is the mushroom. Got some white mushroom. For the mushroom, I'm not gonna wash them, just going to wipe off the dirt with a damp towel. So after you wipe off the dirt, just going to slice it off. Alright, just that is, I'm going to do that to the rest. Next one is just the onions. So it's just going to do some dice up onions situation going on. Gonna peel the skin off. If you like onions, you can do a little bit more. Actually, it's half of an onion is fine. So I'm gonna save the rest for other things that I will do later on. So like so is good. So that's the onion. The final prep work with the veggies wise is the pineapple. Well, pineapple is technically not a vegetables, but so with the canned pineapple I got, this is about good. So just slice it up. All right, so that's that. Now next step I'm going to do is make the fried rice. See you guys then. All right, so we're back at the infamous outdoor wok station. So we're going to prepare the fried rice. So recently I found out this hack with the fried rice. Since it's this plastic garden storage bags, so you can put it in with your day-old rice and then smush it up. So the reason why I found this out is that my friend, I was asking him for rice to make fried rice with, and he bring me this bag. I mean rice in a garden bag. I was like, oh, hey, but it's actually nice. You can smush it up, and then you can get each individual grain going on, and then it's just rice. So afterwards you can just rinse it with water and then reuse it again. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna make the fried rice. Fried rice for the base of this pork chop rice situation. So I have 2 eggs. So get some oil in. Get nice and hot. Alright, get the eggs in. In with the rice. Simple seasoning with soy sauce. White pepper. A little bit more of the soy sauce. Alright, so turn that off. That's the fried rice base. And now we're gonna move back inside to mix the sauce and the pork chops. So take the pork chops out of the bag. And then we're going to first drench it into the eggs. I have 2 eggs, around 2-3 eggs here. So mix that up. So you need to put the egg in for the flour to stick. And then, all right, get good coating on there. Dust off the excess. All right, so that's that. We're gonna take it to here to fry this. Pan fry. I have the pan already heated up and the oil as well. So I'm not doing it around medium heat. All right, going to flour the next one as well. So first with the egg, get it good and coated. And then to the flour. Make sure you get a good coating in, front and back. Remove the excess, and into the pan it goes. So put the bone on the middle, so I need to put this one in the middle, as that part will take the longest time. So around medium heat. Alright, and you can also cover the lid to make sure it cooks easier. So that will be around like 5-6 minutes each side. Alright, so that's that. Alright, so while the pork chop is frying, we're going to make the sauce. So the first one of the part of the sauce is beef broth. I don't have beef broth, so what I'm using is just bouillon. So gonna get the beef broth going on. So there's 3 parts to the sauce. There's the pasta sauce base, and then there's the roux, and then the beef stock. So we're going to prepare each one and then all incorporate it later on. So this part is relatively easy. Just get a beef stock situation going on. So that's that. Alright, now we're going to check on the pork chop. Been around 3-4 minutes on one side. Alright, so you see that gold color going on. Go flip that. Probably need a little bit more time as this is a pretty thick one. So put the lid back on. Alright, now continue with the second part of the broth. So the second part of the broth situation we got going on. So that's just some residue from the bouillon, but that's fine. Turn the stove on. Get a little oil going. And this is the pasta sauce part. Of course, you can buy outside pasta sauce, but I'm just have tomato extra, so just gonna make my own. In with the garlic. All right. And then with the tomato, again, there was 1 tomato, diced up. And then around, let that cook up, do its thing, soften up a little bit. At this point, you can season it with a little salt. Not gonna do much, as this is only a base only. So like not even a 1/5 of a teaspoon. But you do want some salt to kind of make it sweat a little bit. Alright, so that's that. Let that cook up a little bit more. Alright, and now we're in with water. About a little bit over 1/2 of a cup of water. Alright, let that boil. And then afterwards, you're going to season it a little bit. So this is going to be a rough seasoning, as this is only a base, not the whole sauce. So we're going to also season the sauce situation later on. So we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce. So around 1/2 of a tea. So this is all the seasoning that it does need. So cook it a little bit more to get that softened up. Around a minute or 2 more. Don't need to cook it too bad. Again, you can buy your like pasta sauce to get that going. So again, it would be a 3-part situation with the broth. So the 3-part situation is that 1 part is the beef stock, and second is the pasta sauce, and then the roux, and then essentially we're gonna mix all 3 together. Okay. All right. So that's good. Don't need to cook it too much. So we're just gonna plate this up, And then move on to the third part of the sauce, which is the roux. Alright, so we haven't forgot about the pork chop. So we did a flip already. So this is taking it out. So been around 10 minutes. So it's okay. It's not if it's not 100% cooked, as we're going to bake it in a little bit. So that is good. We're going to do the rest of the pork chops. Alright, now to the third part of the sauce. If my stove will turn on, okay. Alright, the third part is the roux. So what the roux is just the thickening. It is just equal parts butter and equal part flour. So I have 80 grams of butter. So I'm going to do 80 grams of flour. So just mix it constantly. Until it cook up. Cook the flour a little bit. Get kind of a little bit nutty situation. Incorporate everything. Do stir constantly, as you don't want lumps. Alright, now what we're gonna do is incorporate the tomato paste. So this is just a small can of tomato paste, which is around 170 grams, 6 ounces. So that's that. Gonna whisk that in as well. This is gonna be giving it this good wet coloring situation going on. Alright, now we're going to incorporate the beef broth. So turn off the heat. Make sure you turn off the heat to do this. Add the beef broth in. Don't let it all at once. So this is around a third of it. Stir it constantly. Again, make sure the heat is off. Let me check the remaining pork chops. Do a flip. Okay. Alright, so let that do its thing again. Put the lid back on. Alright, back to the roux. Alright, so stir constantly again. Add a little bit more broth into it. You don't want to turn the heat back on until you kind of get it all mixed, get the consistency that we're looking for. When I do get to it, I will let you know. So this is kind of like a tomato soup situation going on. Alright, a little bit more of the broth. Alright, so that's good. So it's not a thick sauce right now, but right now we're going to turn the heat back on. A medium-low situation, or turn it to low. And then we're going to slowly heat that up. And as it does heat up, you're thicken it a little bit more. So if you think it's too thick, you want to add more broth, feel free to do so. So now it's slowly thickening up. Do not rush this process. Don't turn the heat too crazy. As once it does heat up, it will be relatively quick. You can incorporate the tomato sauce from the spoon, and then also use the spoon for the sauce test later on. Now it's slowly thickening up again, see? And continue whisking in the meantime. Now it's slowly warming up, heating up, and getting a little bit thicker, which is almost done. A little bit more thicker and we're good. So this is the hardest part of the dish, is making the sauce. Other than that, it's relatively easy. Alright, so that's almost done. Alright, so this is good, like a kind of a tomato soup kind of situation. Gonna turn the heat off, because if you don't, it will continue thickening. Alright, now we're going to do the final part of the sauce. Alright, there's one more part to the sauce, which is the veggies. And then after the veggie, we have to final season the sauce. So I have a little bit butter in. You can use oil, but I like butter, especially with mushroom wise. I feel butter is the best combination for mushroom. So in with the mushroom, and then on with the onions. Sorry, I don't have a bigger pan, so it's gonna be a little bit smoosh, but that's fine. So we're gonna season as we go. So a little bit of salt, and then you also make it sweat as well. And I did see a comment earlier saying that I should not use fork on non-stick pan. So this is not a regular non-stick pan. It's like those hacks situation. So it said that it's non-scratch. See? So there's nothing coming off, supposedly. Okay. All right, now turn it to medium heat. So what we're gonna do to look for is just cook the mushroom and the onions just a tiny bit. Make it sweat a little bit. Afterwards, we will also add those all to the sauce. So this is just a lot of layers. First you have the fried ones, the base, then we have the pork chop, and the sauce is the main ingredient. So the sauce, you have all these different layers of flavor. You have the tomato paste, you have the pasta sauce, and then you have the veggies as well. And then on top of that, you have a layer of cheese on top that we bake, so all that cheesy gooey goodness as well. So this dish has a lot of depth. Don't mind the messy situation going on. Almost about time to add the pineapple in. Now we add the pineapple. Gonna cook the pineapple a little bit. So heat it up and then get it caramelized a little bit. Make it extra sweet. I think around 2-3 more minutes will be good. So after this, we're going to add that to the sauce. And after we get the sauce ready, we're just going to assemble everything and then put it in the oven. Boil it in the oven. Set the oven in boil situation and put that in around 6 to 8 minutes. Get the cheese and the sauce all bubbly and everything. Then it is time to eat. So this is what we call a soy sauce Western cuisine. So we have Western influence, but we also have Chinese situation, as with the fried rice and then with the soy sauce for the seasoning. Right, so that's almost done. Okay, a little longer. Make the mushroom and the onions a little bit more, and then caramelize the, now gonna heat a little more to caramelize the pineapple as much as we can. Just a couple more minutes. Alright, so that's good. Turn off the heat. Bring the sauce back into the plate. Make sure the thickness is good. Might need to add a little bit more broth, which is not a problem. I do have some remaining. Gonna heat that up into medium heat. Add a little bit more of the beef broth. Ooh, who is that, Chip? Somebody at the door. Still a little bit thick, but gonna let it warm up first to make sure that the consistency is good. Now, as it's not warm up yet, it's not accurate. Okay, it's still a little bit more broth. Oh, of course, I almost forgot the pasta sauce. I actually did forget the pasta sauce. Never mind, put it back in. Might need to add a little bit more woo, if that's the case. No problem, always can improvise. So make sure you incorporate everything. So ideally, we will want to add that pasta sauce before the roux is set. So that's not too much of a problem. All right, now we add the veggies and the pineapple. Incorporate everything again. So still a pretty good consistency with the sauce wise. So that's, but last step is the seasoning. We're gonna do about a teaspoon. You can season as you go of the soy sauce. And the key to this sauce here, sorry about that, has some technical difficulty. The camera overheated. So pick up where we left off. We were seasoning with the soy sauce. So a bit, around 2 teaspoons. And then the essential seasoning is this Maggi seasoning. If you don't find that at the Asian grocery store, you can use Worcestershire sauce. So we're gonna do around 15 to 18 squirt there, drop, mix it up. And since we have so many tomatoes component going on, we need to sweeten it up. So this is gonna be tangy, sweet, and also with the soy sauce and the Maggi seasoning, it's gonna be all that flavor combined. So this is why it's a East meets West dish situation. Of course, season as you cook So we're gonna give that a taste. A little bit more salt, but almost good. And a little bit more sugar to bring out the flavor. Don't want to put too much soy sauce in because it will dull the color a little bit. So if you find that it's not enough flavor after the 1.5 teaspoon of soy sauce, just add a little bit more salt. Just a tiny bit more sugar. Alright, so this is good to go. Now we just need to assemble everything. Alright, so everything gonna assemble it all together. We have the pork chop, perfectly cooked. Again, you can do, I'm doing bone-in because I think it's a little bit more flavorful, but of course you can do boneless. Just gonna put that on top of the fried rice. And I do like to eat the bone part as well, so that's why I prefer bone-in pork chop. That's okay. My wife also always say that my cooking is not the most beautiful, a little bit messy. Alright, so we have the pork chops in. Now grab the sauce back. Grab some of the mushroom and the pineapple, onion. Smother that to the pork chop. And we have all that sauce left over. If you like it a little bit more saucy, you can add it once it comes out to the oven when you do eat it. And lastly, we're going to add cheese. I'm doing some mozzarella for the cheese pull. Just going to put the cheese on top. That thing is a little bit stubborn. But you want cheese chip? Later. Look at her. Want to get some cheese action going on. She heard me whipping out the cheese and she came running. So it's kind of like a deep dish situation going on. So I have the oven already turned on to boil. Gonna put that bad boy in. Let it do a thing around 6 to 8 minutes. Alright, so we have been 6 minutes. Oh, look at that. Look at that cheese situation going on. Look like a deep dish. Man. So don't mind me. Gonna take right in. Oh, that's a big bone for the pork chop. Look at that cheese pull, baby. Gonna get some fried rice and a. Ooh. Ooh. Man. So there we have it. The iconic pork chop, baked pork chop rice.